Welcome back into Climbing the Summit podcast, where the true summit is self-realization, self-discovery. I am your host, Danny Cobbin, and today we're going to talk a little bit about resilience. And I was outside doing some of my yoga homework. As many of you know, I just graduated my 200 yoga hour teacher training and currently in my 300 hour teacher training, just back to back, boom, boom. And so I'm reading things like the Yoga Sutra, the Bhagavad Gita, and a lot of different separate texts in order for me to internalize the information. A few of the things that we are supposed to do or we need to do for our class is meditate for 30 minutes a day, journal. And for me, I allow the reading, journaling, meditation all to combine. And then I try and give you guys a cohesive Dharma talk. And what was interesting was after the meditation, after the journaling, I just look up and there's a squirrel climbing this little tree. And I'm like, where's he gonna go? And the little squirrel went from one branch that was so thin to another thin branch on a bigger tree. And the next thing you know, he was scurrying up the tree. And I was like, oh, wow, look, there goes his nest right there. And in that moment, I didn't feel anything. I just felt this amount of peace come over me. And then, in fact, it was the entire time while I'm watching the squirrel. Like, I just got done. And it was just like, wow. And then this thought came into my mind that was like, well, that's a waste of time. And how much wasted time do you want to spend a day watching squirrels climb a tree? And there I went down a rabbit hole. The rabbit hole of you're not good enough. How dare you waste time? And that was the thought that I became addicted to. And how many of us out there are addicted to those negative thoughts that tell us that we're not good enough? Brittany was telling a story. Brittany's the yoga instructor. The story goes something like this. It's an ancient yoga story. And there was a caterpillar in the garden. And this little boy was talking to his guru. And the guru was like, don't mess with the caterpillar. Allow the caterpillar to go through its chrysalis and become a butterfly. And one day, the little kid was in the garden, and he just felt the butterfly flapping its wings, trying to get out, and he didn't do anything about it. And he came back the next day, and that butterfly was still flapping its wings, trying to get out. And what was fascinating is on that third day, because the boy was so compassionate, he was so loving, he was so caring and so kind, that he thought, I might help my friend out. He went inside, got some scissors, brought them outside, cut open the cocoon just a little bit. And then he saw his friend flapping and trying to get away, but it wouldn't fly. And the little boy went and talked to his guru and said, hey, guru, my friend, he's not flying. The guru asked, did you help the butterfly get out of the chrysalis? And the kid was like, yes. And I started looking at my life and looking at how many times I've gotten lost in the thought, so addicted to the thought that I'm not good enough, that I can't do enough, that I will never amount to anything in the world. I've gotten so lost and addicted to that thought that I oftentimes have to remind myself that even though I'm going through something right now, it's making me stronger for the next time that I go through something like this. And when I first heard that information, it didn't stick with me. It didn't resonate. It didn't resonate with me because I had been through so many things and I was tired of making the wrong mistake. And I was beating myself up for those wrong mistakes. But once I recognized that the strength of the caterpillar, the strength of the butterfly comes from the challenge, my perspective on the challenge changed. My perspective on what it meant to go through a situation and learn from the situation and then do something different the next time, that changed my life. And it could change your life too. all that has to happen is that there's a realization that oftentimes we're not participating in reality. We are participating in the reality of our thinking. Thank you, Michael Neal, for that one. And when I think about the reality that I'm actually living in, which isn't reality itself, but the reality of my thinking, I start to see that, oh, if I can clarify the thoughts, stop getting addicted to the thoughts, well, then I can actually participate in this thing right here, right now, we call life. And you can too. You can too. You get the opportunity to start to notice these things, and it will allow you to come alive to life. And when we start to self-realize, once we start to see and discover who you and I are as individuals, once you start to see you for you, your relationship with yourself, you become more grateful, more kind, more loving to yourself. And because of that, you become more loving, kind, and caring to your partner, to your coworkers. In instances where you may have normally went off on them, you start finding love and grace and start to notice, oh, that person's going through it too. And in that moment, not just you come alive to life, but those around you come alive to life. And just like that butterfly flapping its wings, those challenges that we see day to day allow for us to strength to fly and be free. So as you move on your journey towards self-realization, as you move towards your journey to self-discovery, as you move in the direction that your life calls you to move in, keep flapping your wings.